Good afternoon, everyone. Tony Pica, Group Executive for Business Banking for Capital One for the Mid-Atlantic region. I also act as a market president. And through the market president role, we're involved with providing grants to organizations, Easter Seals being one of our recipients, specifically for the Veterans Network, Staffing Network. We also provide volunteer hours through our thousands of associates in this region. We can come out and work with charitable organizations on specific events. Anyone here ever hear of the Face of America ride? You have? And Barbara. Yeah. Anyone ever participate in it? You didn't participate, you just know about it? Yeah, it's a 110-mile bike ride from D.C. to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania over 2 days. From D.C. to Frederick, Maryland, stay overnight, get up the next day, and do another 55 miles to Gettysburg, and you finish driving in through the battlegrounds of Gettysburg. This fat, old, out-of-shape banker did it about 2 months ago. So it was, thank you. It was an amazing experience, and I'd encourage you to Google Face of America, look it up, and start dusting off your bicycle and get ready for next year. It also helps to support veterans and wounded warriors. So there's a tremendous cause behind it. So I have the enviable task of standing between you and beating the traffic and getting out to Father's Day weekend. So I know you've been in sessions and you just had lunch. So I want to make sure you're ready to get in those cars and get out of here. So if you'll indulge me, I'd ask you to just stand up for a minute, just 1 minute. And everyone, let's just clap our hands and thank Easter Seals. Thank you. Thank Easter Seals. A little louder, a little louder. Terrific. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's sit down again. So thank Easter Seals for putting this together for us. Thank you to Capital One. Thank you all for participating. By the way, since that's videotaped, I'm going to get a copy of it, and I'm going to go home on Father's Day and tell my wife and daughter that I got a standing ovation today. Works for me. Right. So, why am I really here? And I have a few very important points that I want to make sure I cover. But the veteran community is growing as the war is winding down and our soldiers are coming back, and it's men and women. They are confronted with a big challenge. It's a challenge that we see nationwide: unemployment. The unemployment rate for veterans, especially those who are younger in their 20s, is higher than it is for the general population right now. We obviously need to address this challenge. So how are we going about it? Well, through Easter Seals, through this new program, we're providing the support that the veterans need to find jobs. Resume writing and all the other components of workforce development. But what's fundamentally important beyond just the job preparation is preparation to land a job, is dealing holistically with the individual and the challenges they will face transitioning back to civilian life. And that is a very difficult period. And many of them have some invisible diseases, PTSD. They may not look like a wounded warrior because maybe they have not lost a limb, which obviously is a visible disability, but nonetheless, the PTSD is really a difficult thing to deal with, not only for them, but for their families. So this wraparound program, this holistic approach is very, very important. And Capital One is thrilled that we're partnering with Easter Seals and taking this approach where we're working through the transition, where we're preparing veterans on how to interview for jobs, how to then be successful in the job that they land. Because it's not just getting the job, it's being able to successfully complete the work task every day. And if you want to find some talented people, just look at the veteran community. Leadership skills, tactical approaches, strategical approaches. They have learned all of these skills through their military background. We now have to learn how to transfer those skills into daily workforce skills that all of you can use in your companies and Capital One can use at our company. So, do we walk the talk? Do we just write the check and Tony comes out here and says a few words? Not really. The almost $500,000 that Capital One has pledged his program is enormously important. It's the seed money to get it off the ground. But as I said, we have volunteers. If you have businesses and you need help with business plan preparation, our bankers are trained to come out and do that. Individually, we can provide financial literacy programs through our volunteers to people, consumers who may need help talking about credit. How do I obtain credit? How do I manage my credit? We provide those programs. So we're out in the community, we're active. In fact, we're required to do it, but most of our associates want to do it anyway because it's just part of their DNA. We walk the talk in hiring veterans as well. At a very senior level, Tatiana Steed, and you may see her name in publications in the Washington Business Journal or the Post occasionally. She's a spokesperson for the bank. Lieutenant Colonel Air Force, retired, learned the skills of communication during her military career, was able to transfer them over to the civilian life, and is by far one of the top communications people in the country, working with Capital One, a top 10 bank. She is the right-hand person of our CEO. She tells him what he should say and what he shouldn't say. We have a guy named Dave Lagassa down in Texas. He runs the risk part of our credit card business. Talk about a challenge. That ain't easy. Dave is not only a tremendous risk officer, which, by the way, he's a Naval Academy graduate. He knew nothing about credit or risk prior to coming to Capital One. He just had really good leadership skills and analytical skills. And he's learned the risk business. More locally, guy who works with me, Mike Jones, is a credit officer for us here in the Mid-Atlantic region, another Annapolis graduate, out in the marketplace helping small businesses to figure out how to get financing and help Capital One provide those small business loans. And by the way, we are a preferred lender for the SBA also. So we can use Patriot Act guarantees on loans. And if anybody has questions about that, I'll hang around afterwards to answer any questions. And lastly, we just hired a young man named Oscar Artola, who is a Marine. He came from Wells Fargo Bank. He was successful there. I would be shocked if he is not a rock star in our company and will rise through the ranks over the next couple of years. Oscar just, you know, from the moment you meet him, he's got success written all over him. So, it's not just about the money, it's not just about the volunteerism, it's about walking the talk, it's about hiring veterans. We have a specific recruiter who just recruits veterans. And she's trained on exactly how to help through that transition period, what to look for. And lastly, we've established a military network within the company. And we have different groups. We have one down in Texas that's pretty large right now, probably the largest in the company. It's, I think, close to 100 people. If not, it's getting close to that. one down in Richmond, Virginia, and I'm proud to say I helped start one here in the McLean office, which now is about 15 people, and Mike Jones, who I talked about earlier, is heading up that group. What do? Well, as I said, after you're hired and you're a veteran, if you have these other challenges and you're kind of adjusting to civilian life, the military network are folks who've been in the workforce for a while. They can come in and provide support. And as you see in many situations where people have challenges, these support groups are very, very important to sustaining success. So let me check my notes to make sure I've covered all the important points. And Barbara and Jeff, if I missed anything, please let me know. I think I did pretty good for Friday afternoon. Last thing I'll say is, you had a question, sir?
No, I want to wait till you're done.
Okay.
Remind them.
Strong businesses build strong communities. And we're a business too. So, we want to live and work in strong communities. And together, we can make this happen. Thank you.